Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Sunset Safari with myself, Stefan Winterboer, and on the back of the car we have VM behind camera today. Out and about is Jamie and Brian, and then we have Tara and Jess in final control. We just want to say good afternoon. We are happy to be out here again, and we raced here after getting some reports that there was some elephant that were just seen at the Juma waterhole. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for keeping us updated between drives. Thank you to all of you that are stuck to your cameras or stuck to your screens like that and keep us updated. We really do appreciate that feedback. Now, as you can see from that opening, which is just really a tangle of bushes with some shadowy shapes moving behind the scenes, we've tried to keep up with these ellies, but they've given us the slip through this thick grass over here. And what we're going to try and do is try and go around them and see if we can get a better view of these elephants. They've just had a mud bath. We literally saw them moving off into the grass, and now we're going to try and get them in this thick bush around upstream of Juma Dam. But let's see what we can do. They're not too far away. We can hear them crashing around in the bushes all around us, in actual fact, as you can see. I've already redesigned the car with some camouflage. Well, that wing mirrors I have to use. My twistiness. Alright, let's see if we can get down and see these ellies. The bush does open up a little bit where they're feeding, but not by too much. I've walked around quite a lot in the bush over here, and it definitely is thick, that's for sure. But that noise that you're hearing in the background there is coming from my engine bay. It's just the old girl over here with a bit of a squeak. She's got a few miles on her. She's allowed to have a squeak, and it stops from time to time, as you can see there. You just got to treat her nice, and then it stops. I'm sure we all can appreciate that. Got some nyala running away. It's a herd of female or ewe nyala. See if we can go down here. I am absolutely amazed at how open the bush is here close to the dam. There really is not much at all in terms of vegetation. It really is incredible. Okay, VM, watch out. Elephant chasing a bushbuck, or a young nyala ram, sorry. That young elephant there was chasing these. Here he comes up again. What are you doing, boy? They are much smaller than you. Oh, you just feel like being a bully. Look at this elephant over my head, is scratching herself on the tree over here. And quite often we see the mud on the trees. Oh, she's just moved off. Sorry about that. Maybe another one comes and scratches itself on the same tree. Let's see. Now, quite often we see mud on trees. I'll actually show you something now. But it's not rare, but I mean, we don't really capture it often, elephants giving themselves a good scratch on a tree and leaving behind some mud. Usually just the telltale signs. There we go. There's some mud on a tree that you can see over there. That's from a previous rubbing. It's quite hot this afternoon. It's 28 degrees centigrade, or around about 80, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. And I was expecting these water holes to be a bit busy. Today's been another one of those blazing white hot sort of days. Been a fantastic afternoon. We've had a long laugh in the camp this afternoon. We were all feeling relaxed. It's Sunday. And good few jokes going around the campsite this afternoon. It's been quite light-hearted and quite nice. With Emmanuel outdoing himself for lunch again, which is all good. Keeping us well fed. Let's see what this elephant is doing. Also out onto the pathway that they've all taken. Slowly feeding here. They have broken up or splintered into a few different groups. Let's see what this... You see she stops for a scratch. No. Moving almost silently. Big cow that's a really big female elephant. Long straight tusks. Only one tusk. The other one having broken off, either fighting or feeding. More than likely feeding in the case of a female. And there they move off. Let's just turn this car around. Some other thick bush, just going to make seeing them a little bit more of a challenge, but we're going to give it a bash nonetheless. Our plan for this afternoon was to go and have a follow-up on where we left those tracks. Myself and VM tracked that leopard for another half an hour or so after leaving you this morning. And he carried on going straight up at that fire break, not too far from the crossroads where we did leave him, or where we did miss the tracks. just joining our show, we have got an interactive drive going on. You can actually contact me by using the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or by sending through questions or sending an email through to questions@wildearth.tv. And what we'll do is we'll try our best to try and answer them. And something that has happened in the meantime is we have got Peter Pretorius has sent a big hello out to everybody. And I just want to say hello, Peter, how are you doing? And good to hear from you. And Peter has asked, since I was trying to reverse making a mention of those bushes and not having side mirrors, do objects appear closer or further away? Obviously, with on screen, objects always appear a bit further away than what they actually are. Let's just wait here for these Ellies. I think they're going to be coming past us. Objects appear a little bit further away on your screen than they are in reality, but without wing mirrors, it's always a good thing to look behind you. Then you know. In wing mirrors, they can also appear a little bit further away. And it's quite often the case where you have dented cars, especially the back left corner and the front left corner are usually the sides of the cars with the most damage done to them in terms of guiding vehicles. So perception, I suppose, that's exactly what it is. Now, talking about perception, I seem to have parked right in the way of these elephants. Let's see if we can get a view. We've got one of them scratching itself on a tree over there. And my perception of these elephants using this game path that we're on at the moment as a road seems to be good. There is a game path that they're on right there. And I think they're going to cross this little drainage line in front of us. The lead elephant just having a smell around there. Let's see what's going on. I'm not quite sure what they're busy doing or what she's busy doing. You can still see they're still wet from the mud bath that they had about 5-10 minutes ago. And there they go. All crossing on the game path. That was a young bull, probably about 12-15 years old. Here's one. Don't know what they're doing with that back leg. Elephants, I tell you. These youngsters. There's one carrying a branch. There's an old female. Oh, she's actually got 2 tusks. I thought she just had one, but they're so evenly matched it was difficult to say. Here goes another female, and she's bringing up the rear guard. And that, I think, was the last elephants to come out of there. They've now gone into a series of gullies, which we won't be able to drive into. It's pretty inaccessible inside there for vehicles, even vehicles as nimble as these ones. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to carry on with the game drive. We're going to carry on and see if we can get into the area where we last left those leopard tracks, just so that we can we have some light left with to track. And please hold thumbs. You know, I think I was saying this morning that I have this sort of knack for not finding leopard, and it's going to hold true if you don't change my luck for me. about us going and watching those elephants having their mud bath in the dams and seeing other animals that inhabit the dams. Carol in Atlanta has asked, would it be feasible for an elephant to hurt a crocodile lurking in some water to hurt an elephant? And Carol, I don't know, I've seen the most remarkable pictures of young Nyala. I've seen the most remarkable pictures of elephant attaching a crocodile, excuse me, I don't know what's going on with me today, of crocodile biting elephant on their trunks, and elephant pulling the crocodile out, and crocodile biting baby elephant and full-grown elephant. I can tell you that live elephant is not on the menu for crocodile. However, the bush is a funny place, and definitely, absolutely, anomalies like that do happen. So I'd say in general, it's not really that feasible for crocodile to hunt elephant. But it does happen from time to time that a crocodile will take a bite at an elephant for whatever reason. And much chaos and pandemonium ensues always. Elephants are incredibly protective over, in particular, their babies, and secondly, for the rest of their herd mates. And don't take kindly to crocodile biting them at all. In actual fact, they don't take kindly to anything getting in their way. Right. This is very close to where we saw those Birmingham boys this morning. On the radio chatter, from I heard on the radio chatter this morning, they just carried on a little bit deeper into Buffelshoek. They weren't on any particular mission going anywhere. I think they were just sort of protecting their front. They went up to this point and then they started to roar from there and then fell asleep. The interesting thing for me is going to be seeing what they do after that. As I've predicted, I think that the Birmingham boys are going to set up their territory. I'm hoping they're going to set up their territory on Djuma itself, with the core of that territory centered around quarantine. I'm hoping that that's the case. However, it may be a mile or two in either direction. I'd like to see how far north these Birmingham boys go and for how long they stay away from Djuma before they come back again. And that's going to be tested tonight. If they come back across our boundary, then it'll further confirm my story about them setting up shop right here. But it's still early days. Even though they've done so much and caused so much chaos, it is still early days. And I think that there's a lot still going to be written about where they set up territories and what they end up doing. Alright, now I think Jamie would love to say hello to you all. I'm sure she's dying to give you an update on what she's been up to. And without further ado, we're going to be sending you through to Jamie. And myself and VM are going to shoot up to where we last saw those leopard tracks, and stay tuned. I'm sure we're going to have an update for you soon.
Good afternoon, everyone. And wouldn't it be so cool if the Birmingham boys do decide to set up their territory right around Djuma, and then we get to see and watch them grow in both size and experience. Be absolutely amazing. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, my name is Jamie and I have Brian on camera with me this afternoon, and I have returned to the last place that I saw Tingana. And if you missed the sunrise safari, we were treated to such a cool experience with Tingana walking in front of us, marking his territory, and even once or twice calling right next to the car. It was all going swimmingly, just following him through a rather thick block, when the ground underneath me collapsed completely, and it turned out that I had driven over a sort of network of aardvark burrows, disused ones, but burrows nonetheless, and they didn't take too kindly to the weight of jigger, which meant that we went down into a hole about to the depth of the axle. Brian and I tried to dig ourselves out, didn't succeed, and in the end we had to call Eugene, who very, very kindly came to our rescue. And after a bit of frantic digging and a bit of towing, we did eventually get out. But by that point, Tingana had moved off, and he was very much heading in the direction of Arathusa. Now, I was also tracking Shadow and Sindile. That's actually how I found Tingana in the end, because I followed some alarm calls. And I reverse tracked after the end of the sunrise safari. I did a little bit of reverse tracking, and it seems as though Shadow came from Simbambili all the way down south to Hoffman's to collect Sindile. Shadow went to collect Sindile and walked all the way back. And I mentioned at the time I strongly suspect Tingana was heading on his way to meet up with her, and I still think that might have been the case, in which case they are north of the Arathusa boundary on Simbambili, somewhere in that particular area. But I haven't given up hope. We're going to check around the drainage lines. I'm just on Arathusa, close to Red Dam, and I want to see if maybe after his night of patrolling and calling might have made him a little bit thirsty. And at this time of year, water is in fairly limited supply. I'm not sure I would go so far as to call Red Dam water at this point, or in fact red. It's slimy green in color, but leopards are not fussy. And I just thought it would be worth checking out on the side. I wasn't able to find where his tracks came out of the block that we left him in. I did search very hard, but there'd been a lot of vehicle traffic on that road, so I might have missed something, especially on harder, rocky ground. Well, I did do a walk just to see if he'd come through, and I checked all of the shade spots because it is blistering hot at the moment. Just want to double check what I'm seeing, because it looks very much as though, although they are very, very faint because it is quite a difficult light, but there are leopard tracks on this game path going down towards the water. Here we go. Those delicate little feet. Now that was a surprise, but I'm almost certain that's him. They look to be about the right size. He does have very large feet. He is a large boy. And they're going straight towards the water. So you never know. We might just get lucky. It looks as though we stumbled upon the tracks that I was looking for. And these are nice and fresh. They haven't been stepped over by any other animals that have come down to drink. And now it becomes a matter of working out where he's gone from here. And they are in a direct line straight to the dam. I mean about Red Dam not being particularly red or particularly watery. Is somewhat slimy green in color. So what I want to do now is do a bit of a loop down towards the dam. I'm just checking very, very carefully around me before I do. It would not be the first time I've been surprised by an animal somewhere lying in the shade next to a dam. Let's see if we can work out where he went from here. Really smells delicious at the moment. This is where it gets a little bit tricky because a lot of animals have been coming down to drink at this time of day. It is blisteringly hot today. The sun is definitely gaining in strength. Calculations are correct, this game path here would be where he would have popped out, and he would be somewhere in here, and he was almost certainly coming for a drink. I just want to double check. I'm just going to hop out of the car for 2 seconds and just see if I can see his tracks coming down this path. Soil type is rather tricky. It's very, very stony. It doesn't catch the light very easily. Double check something with binoculars. Brian, can you see under that fallen tree there? I'm going to move a little bit further forward.